All right, I want to start off with saying Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And it's just going to be a milk lesson here, just about how salvation is only for the children of Israel. Contradictory to what we were all taught, especially, being raised in the, in the Christian church, whatever doctrine, you were raised with, or whatever denomination, I should say, right? Catholic, Methodist, Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness, whatever one of those, forms of Christianity, even though they all might have slight differences within the doctrine, they all teach pretty much the same thing, such as what, that Jesus, either was, God himself in the flesh, or, the Son of God. But they all teach that, he came to save every single human being. Every single human being alive has a chance to choose, sweet Jesus as their savior. They all teach that Jesus is a so-called Caucasian man. They all teach that, they all teach that, when you die, we either go to heaven or hell. They all have some type of teaching on both of those subjects, which we that come around here, we understand the proper understanding of all of those, understandings. But in this video, I just wanted to speak about, the misconception that they have out here, such as, salvation was for all nations of people, because this is certainly not true, man. All right, because who, the world ignorantly calls Christ, he deliberately told us out of his own mouth, which we're going to get the precept later, Matthew 15 and verse, verse 24, 25, he said, I've only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, which we'll get that a little bit later. But we'll go to their, popular verses that they, use to prove their point, such as the world famous, verse that, they have necklaces, and plaques, with this verse on it, right? Everyone knows this verse off the top of the head, right? John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but they should have everlasting life. Yeah, now off the start of reading that, that does sound like, it's talking about, literally the entire world. However, this is why you need to study. Because once you dig a little deeper, we come to the understanding of what John 3:16 actually means. It's not talking about the entire world, because in the Bible, Israel is referred to a world of its own. And I'm going to show you that a little bit later on. But this is out of Christ's own mouth here, right? Christ prayed for his people, but he said he does not pray for the world. This is John chapter 17, verse 9. It says, I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. But the point I want to focus on is he said, I pray for them, but I pray not for the world. Right, so Christ said that he did not pray for the world. Right, so how could, who they call Jesus, right, that we would call Yahweh Shai, how did he die for the entire world, but yet he literally said here that he didn't pray for the world? So wait, if he didn't pray for the world, how could he die for the whole world? You see, and this is how we get the understanding of these scriptures, by going through the precepts. Okay, and I'm going to show you, as I said a little bit later, how we know who this world is that John 3:16 is talking about. I'm going to prove that the world is just talking about the children of Israel, right? Israel is a world of its own in the Bible. And I'm going to show you that. Matter of fact, it's my next verse I will have right here. Remember that, right? John 3:16, for God so loved the whole world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Sounds good, right? Sounds like a good, beautiful scripture, which it is. But the world is actually referring to the children of Israel. And here's how you prove it. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17. says, but Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded. Listen here. World without end. Right, so it said Israel is going to be a world without end. Right, so that proves that Israel is a world of its own. The Israelites are compared to a group of their own. Okay, so you see, off of those handful of scriptures, we totally annihilated the Christian misconception of how John 3:16 means Christ came to bring salvation to all men. That's not true. Salvation was only given to the children of Israel. Right? The 12 tribes of the children of Israel are the only ones who contend for salvation, according to the Bible. You know, you ain't going to hear this in no church because they're pushing a bunch of nonsense, man. Bunch of BS. And I have an example here, you know, because, Christian will quote, verses such as, anyone who believes in Christ can be saved. Or what about the scriptures that say that whosoever calls upon the Lord shall be saved? It says, whosoever in it. So see, that proves that, Christ will grant anybody, salvation, right? That's what it will appear. However, I'm going to show you an example of how that is not true. Let's go to the book of Acts chapter 2. We'll start at verse 21. It says, And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Now, reading that by itself, you read that, it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, it sounds like anybody can be saved. However, if you read the verse underneath to get the context, now we find out what this is really talking about. It's verse 22. Ye men of Israel, hear these words. It says, Yahushua of Nazareth, a man approved of God among you by miracles and wonders and signs, which God did by him in the midst of you, as ye yourselves also know. Right, but the point I wanted to bring this up for is it says there that whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. But yet in the next verse, it tells you that it's talking to the men of Israel. Right, so that's why you got to get the context. Okay, so off of that, we prove that the whosoever in the Bible, that it refers to that they can receive salvation, the whosoever is talking to the children of Israel. So it's whoever is a descendant of the 12 tribes is qualified to receive salvation. But anyone who is of a foreign nation, such as, a Moabite, a Canaanite, or a Canaanite, excuse me, an Edomite. All right, just to give a couple examples of the other nations, that are outside of the children of Israel. People who are descendants of those nations, you can't receive salvation. Right? That's just what it is. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just reading the Bible. And these are the facts. So if anyone don't agree with it, hey, well, you don't agree with the text. That's what Christ said, what is that? Matthew 11:6, and blessed is he who's not offended in me. Right. So we're, going to continue, to teach what the scriptures say. And anyone who don't agree with that, well, that's your problem. That's just what it is, man. And I have one of the best for last. As I told you earlier, Christ himself deliberately said that he was only sent for the children of Israel. And I have it here. Matthew chapter 15, verse 24. It says, And he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Let me read that again. Matthew chapter 15, verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Right, so Christ said that he was only sent to the children of Israel. So with that, I think I'll say shalom. I just wanted to give a handful of scriptures that prove that salvation in the Bible is only for descendants of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. So I think that was sufficient proof of that, which of course there's, other, scriptures that one could, use, to argue, against that and whatnot, so that can be addressed, later on. But, I just wanted to give a little rundown of those precepts real quick. And I'm going to say shalom.